So I'm going to be talking about Savvify and Techmums. I suppose that a lot of what I'm doing now, I've had a 20-year career as an academic in computer science, but a lot of what I'm doing now in my midlife years is kind of informed by what happened to me when I was younger. So I'm going to tell you a bit of my personal story as well to kind of, I suppose, show you how I've got to where I am today and why I think that we really need to focus on women in tech and particularly in mums. So, you may not think that this is me, but actually that was me quite a few years ago now. When I was 16, I left school and I got married at 20. And at 21, I had my first daughter, and then 23, I had twins. So this is me at about 24 or 25 with my 3 little kids. When I was 25, I got divorced and became a single parent. And I do nothing by halves. And so I found myself at the age of about 25 or 26, being a single parent, living on a council estate in sort of inner city London, thinking to myself, how on earth am I going to bring up these children? How am I going to earn enough money to bring them up? And what happened was I decided that I needed to get an education. So I guess technology and education changed my life and also changed my family's life. What I did was I went to night school and did a maths course because maths was my best subject at school. And that gave me university entry. So I then went on and did a degree in computing at South Bank University in London. And that went well and I enjoyed research. So then I did a PhD in software engineering and became an academic. And as I was saying, I've had about 20-year career in academia now and kind of stepped out of that full-time a couple of years ago. And so now I have a portfolio career, which includes coming to talk to you guys, places like you guys here. But also I've got a company called Savvify. And I do various other things, including writing a book about the campaign to save Bletchley Park. So throughout my 20-year academic career, do you get Little Britain here? Oh, yes. So this is a scene from Little Britain, where whatever anyone goes into this office and asks this lovely lady here, sitting here with the white shirt on, whenever anyone asks her anything, her answer is always, computer says no. And I've found that attitude from lots of people throughout my career in computing, in that when someone's asked me, what do you do? And I say anything about computing. I mean, it is getting better, but anyone says, what do you do? And I say something, computer science. They either think that I'm a boffin and they couldn't possibly talk to me because it's too difficult, or they think that I'm incredibly boring and why would they want to talk to me? Or they talk about things like big government IT systems that have failed. It's basically lots of negative, a negative response. And I suppose throughout my career, I mean, in terms of the way I see things, to me, technology is the future, right? It's the biggest opportunity to do something exciting. It's changing the world. For me, it's the way that we're going to save the planet by connecting everyone together. There's so many exciting things that we can do with technology that over that 20 years, have lots of people giving me a very negative view of technology kind of upset me, I suppose. And I really wanted to do something about that. So I think that if we think back 100, 150 years, Europe was in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. And I think what comes with revolution is lots of opportunity. And I think we see the same thing now with the digital revolution. There's lots going on, and there are lots of opportunities. And I think, people have been talking about that this morning. There are massive opportunities now out there. Are we going to take them up? And I think we really should get going and do something about that. But how do we do that? So there's lots of support around Europe. some figures from Ireland or the UK show that there's a massive skill shortage in technology. We need more people working in this area. But at the same time, everyone kind of realizes that the time is now. If we want to do something, we should really get on with it. And I think, specifically actually from what I've heard this morning, the Minister for Jobs is on board. He recognises that something exciting is happening and there are opportunities out there. It's very clear to me that Ireland, similar to the UK, there's a skills shortage, but there's lots of opportunity, and we really need to get going now to try and do something to make sure that those opportunities are taken up. So I've been thinking about these things, about the opportunities, about the skills shortage, and trying to work out what to do about it. And at the same time, try and work out how to switch people's opinions from the computer says no kind of opinion to computer says yes, which is how I think it should be. I think with our education systems, we haven't really focused on technology and technology skills. We haven't really focused on showing people what opportunities are out there in technology. I'm not sure about the school system here, but in the UK, our kids have mainly been taught how to use Microsoft products, so things like PowerPoint, Excel, and Word. And that's been a lot of what's been taught to them in terms of what technology is for quite some time now. I've got 4 children now. So my oldest daughter, who was the little one in the photo at the beginning, is now 30. And when she was 14, so that's now 16 years ago, she was being taught stuff like Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. And in schools in the UK, still today, that's still what's being taught. It's actually changing in September. So finally, some change has been made to try and bring that more up to date. But I think we've got whole generations of people who don't really know what the opportunities are out there in technology. And we need to try and do something about that. So in thinking about that, I kind of came up with this really well put together diagram here, so if we start with people that are not very switched on to technology, I think that the main kind of switching factor, what we need to do is to get out to people who don't realise what these opportunities are, and try to help them to kind of turn that switch in their heads, to turn them from computer says no to computer says yes. And I think the way to do that is we need to kind of hold their hands and show them what the opportunities are. So I'm going to be talking about Techmums in a minute, and I've set that up expressly really to do this type of thing, because I think that if we can change people's mindsets around technology, we don't have to teach them everything, but we do need to show them that just for the average person, there are lots of opportunities for them if they understand technology and they feel more comfortable with technology. So kind of what this diagram is all about is, the starting point is taking those people, which basically is most of everybody that's around, because most of us haven't learnt cutting-edge digital technologies and skills throughout our lives. So it's helping people by turning that switch in their head, turning them on to technology, getting them excited about technology. And I think if we can do that for individuals, for everyday individuals, that will then affect their families, it will affect organisations, because if we can do that for whole organisations, then those organisations will be able to take up the opportunities better. And if we do that for lots of organisations, then as nations, we'll be much more competitive, because we'll have a workforce that understands what those opportunities are and how to take them up, and will help them to feel very excited about technology rather than switched off from it. So I set up an organisation called Savvify, and our first initiative is called Techmums. So Claire, Emma and I are the 3 people that set up Techmums last year. And this is us and our, how many is that? 9 children, 4 of mine. We thought that, as I've just said, we want to change people, switch people onto technology. And we thought that by starting with mums, we would get to reach more people more quickly. So Anne mentioned the GoTo Foundation, which I set up a couple of years ago. Within that organisation, we started doing stuff with kids in schools. And one thing I realised quite quickly was that we can get the kids all excited about technology, but if they then go home and talk to their parents about it, and their parents are quite negative about technology, we didn't get very far. And whereas what I want to do is to change as many people as quickly as possible. So kind of from that came the idea that if we could start with mums, then we would get to more people more quickly. And we could have started with parents. We did think about starting with parents, but then realised that if we start with just parents, well, tech parents doesn't sound as cool as tech mums to start with. But if we started with mums and dads, we possibly would get the dads and not the mums. Because for some reason, men just seem to be more confident with technology than women in general. So if we just targeted the mums to start with, we'd get the mums on board, help build their confidence. And if we got the mums on board, we'd probably get the dads as well. And I'm sure we would get the kids anyway. So it's a way to get as many people on board as quickly as possible. Now there's also the fact that from my many years of experience as being a computer scientist, I found that there aren't that many women around. I mean, it's great to see here today a very mixed audience. But when I was doing my PhD, my first conference that I ever went to, there were about 98% men and about 2% women. And that's fine, but I then went to a conference which was 98% women and 2% men, and that was much more fun. Because, I don't know, it's just easier I'm not saying women are better than men. What I'm saying is it's easier if you're in the majority. So if you're in the majority, everything's just much more comfortable, I think. And so I've campaigned a lot for more support for women in technology, and tried to encourage people in organisations to think about how to get more women into their organisations and how to encourage more women into IT. And so with Techmums, if we focus on mums, we not only get the whole family and hopefully the whole country more switched on towards technology, we also get more women out there promoting technology, creating technology, and we also have more women out there in the workforce, hopefully, because it could be a first step back into full-time employment for mums.